Hey guys, it's Kelly from Bok Bok Bouquet. It's October 2020 right now, and I'm just gonna do some of my usual garden maintenance. I'm not really sure how to start this video. I'm still trying to get over being shy on camera, but I'm just gonna take you with me as I do some stuff. And I'm not perfect, I'm only human, so I've really slacked on my maintenance this past couple weeks. It's 93 degrees today, so you would never know it's fall. It's pretty hot, and luckily our heat wave's gone. But we went through triple digits and a lot of my tomato plants really got fried, and I should have been trimming this and I slacked on my maintenance, so I'm gonna go in today and get rid of some of these dead leaves that should have been gone already. I've been pretty lucky this entire summer. I haven't really had any tomato hornworms, but a couple weeks ago I had like 5 in a row completely attack my plant. I had there's hornworm damage, eating the leaves off and stuff, and I just need to get rid of it. And this is something like I used to like to do every day, just a little here or there, but I've slacked on my maintenance, so here we are today with a lot of work. And I've been slacking on my harvesting. As you can see, here's some rotted tomatoes that never got harvested. This is a determinate tomato, so it doesn't grow any bigger than this. It's a Roma, and it stays pretty small in this like little container planting. I'm surprised it's gone on this long actually. It's gotten pretty tall and it's still flowering, so I should get more harvests before a frost. Just gonna cut all these dead leaves off. There's just a lot of damage. I'm gonna have to really cut at this plant. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this. You want to remove the dead leaves because then the plant's sending its energy to try to fix the leaves instead of making fruit. I'm gonna try to cut all this away. The leaves really got crispy. I was having to water many times a day. The temperature was beyond triple digits, so it was hard to maintain these plants. They did really well though. A lot of them are still fruiting and they survived, but I've just been really busy lately like everybody gets, and been slacking on my maintenance. But you always want to prune your tomatoes. Since this is a determinate tomato, you don't prune the suckers, you kind of just let them grow because the height and the age of the plant is already determined from the beginning. It doesn't keep on growing like an indeterminate tomato does, which can get to be a huge, over 14 feet plant. This one always stays little. Look at that, I just really let it go. But we all get busy and it's hard to keep up with. I think that's why a lot of people don't get into gardening. They don't think they have the time for it, but with just a little maintenance here or there, it's really not bad. This I just really let go. I don't know where I've been lately. I should have been keeping up on this, but I am only human, just like you, unless you're a lizard person impersonating a human. You want to try to check your plants daily for the tomato hornworm. It's a moth caterpillar larva, and it can really decimate your plant overnight. They blend in too. They're like a lime green color. I'll insert a picture here. So make sure you're looking out for them. They're huge. Here's what I have left of my plant, all cleaned up. Before I go ahead and prune up these tomatoes, I'm going to do some harvesting. This one didn't get to soon enough. Looks like some little birds got it. Guess I'll give the rest to my birds. Hey guys! Go. They love it. So they don't mind that I let that one go. I'll go in here and cut these tomatoes off. There's some cracking because of the extreme heat. It's from, I guess, improper watering. I was watering as much as I could, but you can just cut away from that. Still a good tomato. Guess that's it on this plant. And grab these ones. Another yucky one. Here you go, guys. And another. See, harvesting is why we all do this, the best part of gardening. It's our favorite thing that we look forward to, what we do it all for, and I can't believe I let this go. But at least the babies are happy. One last one. All right, while I'm at it, let me just go ahead and harvest all the veggies in the garden that were, actually, these are fruit. Here's another fruit. This one's getting pretty big. This cucumber right here kind of showed up overnight. Make sure you never pull cucumbers off the vine. It could damage the vines. Always clip it, be careful. Cucumber. Make sure you're harvesting your cucumbers often. It keeps them producing. And take this little one off too. And come along with me to the peppers. I need to get some of those. These are red bell peppers, so I'm going to let them ripen. I want them to turn red. You can harvest them as green, but I really want some red ones. Here's some California chilies, Anaheim pepper. I've been meaning to grab. Again, you should keep harvesting your fruits. It keeps them producing more flowers, which turn into fruit. There's some little baby jalapenos starting. They start off with these little flowers. And once the flower dries up, the fruit starts to produce. Here. These jalapenos don't get very big. We'll go ahead and harvest some. And this is the best part about having a garden. I mean, it's why we all do it. The most fun part of it all. It's really exciting when you see all the hard work you've been through, everything you've done, fighting all the pests and the aphids and the worms and the caterpillars, just to get these little harvests. Our jalapenos have been really hot lately. And me and my boyfriend love spicy food, so it's been pretty good, but they say that extreme weather, letting your peppers suffer a little, can make them hotter, so maybe that heat wave is what did it. But I don't know if you can see here. Do you want to zoom in? There's a little spider right there, just got mad at me for grabbing that pepper. You want to leave your spiders. They're one of your best friends here in the garden. They help keep pests away. Spiders are your friend. So I'm going to leave him be. Only had a couple green beans that are ready to harvest. It's just a snack, won't be a meal. You see right here? Hornworm damage. Strip all the leaves, just leave stems. If you see this happening in your plants, check your plant everywhere. This is hornworm. I have a indeterminate tomato plant here, so you can see it outgrew this tomato cage quite a bit. So next year I won't be caging these. I'm gonna have to use some other trellising system, maybe a ladder mesh or cattle panel. Something much taller. These are just all flopping over. Now that I've got all the high weather, heat damaged leaves off of here, regular pruning that you want to do in your tomato plants is make sure that there's lots of airflow at the base of the plant, lower in the plant, so it can breathe. So you want to go ahead and like trim out the lower leaves to keep a lot of airflow and circulation under the plant for a healthy plant. Any of them that look like they're crispy or dying, you want to remove those. When it was spring and the beginning of summer, all the plants were really healthy, but the heat really makes them peter out. But we're still producing flowers and fruit, so a lot of people are ripping out all of their summer plants right now and just going full force towards fall and winter gardening, but I'm just going to keep these around till the freeze comes. It may look like annoying maintenance, but gardening can be really therapeutic. Good for anxiety, and if you have any problems with like addiction or something, you can get addicted to gardening. I feel so happy when I'm in my garden and I can just like tend to all my plants. It brings me such joy watching them grow and pruning them. I usually never let them get this bad, but the heat wave out here was killer. But even this kind of maintenance can still bring such joy. I recommend gardening to everyone, and especially when you grow your own food and you know what's on your plate. You know exactly what you're eating and how it grew. There's no better feeling. Not being reliant on the market, especially with these times nowadays. With the whole pandemic and everything being sold out of grocery stores, what a better time to learn to grow your own food and be self-sufficient. It brings you closer to earth and back down to nature. Makes them be able to control you less when you control what you eat. Mulching with some straw or dead leaves or anything you can really find really helps when you're having a bad heat wave and everything, keeping the moisture there. So if you watched my last video starting my fall garden, I transplanted some stuff out into this bed, and I had just planted a bunch of lettuce everywhere, and now it's time to thin the lettuce out. It's starting to smother the plants and they're not going to get the full sun they need, so go ahead and take some of this lettuce out. It just really grew up overnight. Some of this we can eat, and then a lot of it they can eat. They're already kind of getting anxious that I'm picking it. Whenever they see me over here harvesting any of the leafy greens, they get pretty jealous. Poor babies. See, I have two little tomatillo plants right here. Just gonna be able to get them some more light. All this lettuce was really shadowing my broccoli and my cauliflower right here, so check on it. It's time for the lettuce to go. My cabbage is getting completely smothered here, so it's time for it to go. Go. Guys need your share. Get rid of the tush. Harvesting some kale here, because I have some smaller kale plants that I don't want to get shadowed. Some of these will juice, and then a couple of these will go to the chickens because they have some caterpillar damage. But the kale grows really fast. You got to keep up harvesting it. It gets out of control. Okay, this one. We can have a juice for lunch. If you haven't seen our green juice video, we'll link it down below. Harvesting is hard work. I'm like out of breath. I need to get all these washed up. Put it to the side for now. So I got some of these little transplants at Lowe's the other day. I started these from seed. Here's some red cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. But I got some Brussels sprout and some Chinese cabbage that I'm going to put here in the bed too. Some I'm going to put in containers and a couple I'm going to put out here in the bed. So I got my 2 red cabbage right here, and I'm just going to make a little hole for them. I'm going to put a Chinese cabbage right here next to the red cabbage. Just squeeze the bottom of the container. I like to hold the base of the plant so it's nice and safe. Help wiggle it out. Be gentle with the baby. Here we go. A couple leaves are broken, so my bed is already pretty prepped. When I started this bed, we actually put some tree trimmings and some little bark and like chunks of wood and stuff from our bay leaf tree, and then we added some poultry and horse manure in here. Some raised garden bed potting mix. We got some worm castings and fertilizer in here, so it's all pretty prep. But I'm going to add to the bottom of the transplant, the base of this hole, some more worm castings. See, a couple of these little leaves broke. I'm just going to break them all the way off. Put this guy in here. Pack it in there pretty tight. Here, I have a Chinese cabbage. They're ready to go out of these little containers. I transplanted one of these the other day into a grow bag, and it's already doubled in size. So I'm expecting these to really take off now that I'm finally planting them. I've been slacking. I've been meaning to get to this. But here today we're going to make time. So I have a 6-foot raised garden bed, so I have some tomatillos over there, broccoli, cauliflower right here. I have a line of cabbage right here. I'm going to keep this lettuce going right here, and I'm going to put 2 Brussels sprouts right here, and then I'll have a plant per square foot. So I'm gonna do a hole right here. You should wear gloves, but they just drive me crazy. You can't get anything done. Got some carrots right here, some red onion, and beets right here. Little cilantro plant I'm trying to get going. But this lettuce is really taking over everything, so I had to thin it out, get it out of here. I still want to keep some growing so we can have some salads. And I got some transplants inside going too, so I should be expecting some more lettuce coming. So I got the holes ready. So we find that I got rid of some of this lettuce because we got much more going on soon. So here's my Brussels sprouts. Gentle. Don't want to damage or break the plant. There's one right there. Get this one out. The rest of these little guys I'm going to put in grow bags, but I'll put 2 of them. Oop, a little tangled. Here. Want to make sure their roots are in there nice and firm. Okay, put this one right here. Bury it and pack it down again. These plants grow really fast, so they should start to take off now that they're being transplanted. All right, I'm going to water them in right away to relieve some of the transplant shock. Just going to give the whole bed a little soak. The leaves may seem droopy from the transplant shock for a few days, but they should usually perk right up. And it's a cool weather plant, so we're having a hot day today, 93, and I notice these cool weather plants, when it's really hot, the leaves kind of droop, and then in the morning when it's nice and chill and like crispy, they're all perked right back up. But this is the hottest day we're gonna have for a while now. The other day it was so cold, but so these should start doing pretty good. Excited about them. So I got me here a 20 or 25 gallon grow bag. I figure I'm just gonna put 3 Brussels sprouts in here. I filled it with some leftover soil I had the other day. It's not quite full though, so need a little more soil. The chickens associate anything bagged with their snacks. Hey Griff, it's not for you. I promise it's not mealworms. They're worms and sunflower seeds come in a bag, so. I got here my favorite bag potting mix. It's Kellogg's Organic Raised Bed and Potting Mix Soil. I'm one of those people that just always does organic. Just makes me feel better. Once the soil gets watered down a lot, it always condenses and packs in a little more. So it won't look as full. I like to account for that. That's pretty good. I'm just gonna go in here and break up any of the clumps. I'm gonna add a slow release fertilizer. Tear here. Never works, right? I'm sorry, it's not worms. Just add your fertilizer to the top. When you water your plants, everything drains to the bottom, so you can just add your fertilizer to the top and it'll go through the entire container. I'm gonna mix it in. More clumps. I already pre-moistened the soil that was already in here this morning. I ended up giving it a good water, so I'm gonna go ahead and wet up the rest of this. When you first get the soil, it's kind of resistant to being wet. The water kind of will run right off of it, so it's good to pre-moisten it. I have 3 Brussels sprouts transplants left. I'm gonna put all 3 in this grow bag. I wanna bend the bottom of the container. Oh, don't do that. Be gentle. Make sure you keep these. They're good for starting seeds. Put it to the side. Make 3 little holes. Organic Solutions worm castings. Pack it in there tight, because again, brassicas, they don't like looser soil. It's about a week ago, or maybe it's 2 now, just time's escaping me. I transplanted this Brussels sprout and this Chinese cabbage out, and look how much they've already like doubled in size. Here's 4 plants and there's 1. So they get really excited to get planted in. They can grow, spread their roots. So I shouldn't have been slacking. I've been meaning to transplant these, but today I'm finally getting all my maintenance done. So now these guys can start flourishing like these ones. So I'm gonna put the rest of the cabbage in these 4 grow bags here. Here's a failed zucchini plant. I think it just really got attacked by aphids and I wasn't up on it enough that it didn't recover. I got rid of the aphid problem by spraying neem oil on there, but just the plant never recovered. But it's fall, it's time to give up on zucchini, so I'm gonna rip it out. I'm gonna put a cabbage in here. So I'm gonna move the mulch to the side. Dig me a little hole. Some more worm castings. All right. Looks like this leaf is broken. So I'm just gonna take it off. Same with this leaf. Move the mulch over. Cut me some holes. Our little baby chicks are already so spoiled. They see me gardening and they're just going crazy because they really, really want some lettuce. Eating machines, chickens are. Never full. Always starving. Spoiled little brats. They say, it's not fair, you're right there, it's right there, give it to us. Later. We've been letting them out every day to go play in our little pumpkin patch. And I planted some calendula over there and stuff, and they've just been playing and eating everything, I don't mind. Broken leaf. Move this little lower one too. Some here. Sometimes when you get plants at Lowe's and Home Depot, there'll be more than 1 plant in the cell. So, pull this one out. I don't want to plant both of these plants. It won't work out. And I don't think I can separate these without killing both the plants. So I'm just gonna take what I think is the strongest plant, which is this one. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. And I'm just gonna, I have really sharp nails, so I'm just gonna snip that one, the base, and just keep one of the plants. Sometimes that happens. Check when you're planting things, how many plants are in there. Because depending on your situation, you may not be able to keep both of them. All right, got our little baby cabbage. And here's our last grow bag. Cut me a little hole. Worm castings. Whoop. And same thing. I got 2 plants. The last 2 had 2. So this one's clearly the better plant. Be careful. Rip that one out. Stick. Okay. Put this one in here. And there we go. It's like you get so excited when you go to Lowe's and you buy all these plants and then, what the heck, I was just neglecting them. They're just sitting here in those cells like I've been meaning to plant them. But again, when you transplant, water them in pretty well. Okay, that's pretty good. So my last video, fall gardening 2020. Here's the seeds that I started. I'm gonna plant the peas out today. I've been meaning to do it again. I've been neglecting my garden maintenance, so these are way too tall. They're like completely toppled over with the grow lights. So I'm gonna get these out of here. Let these other seeds continue to grow because my lettuces, my cabbages, and my broccoli over here, they still need to stay and grow a little more before I transplant them out, but peas are ready to get out of here. Carefully. Okay. Once you get some dirt in here, they'll hold their shape better. There we go. I'm pretty sure my least favorite part about gardening is filling up and emptying the soil. One more. This is actually one of my chicken feed scoops. That'll serve its purpose right now. I'm gonna add some slow release fertilizer. Toss it in. Things are pretty wet right now. So the cardboard, well not cardboard, it's a peat pot. Just kind of breaking it. Just gonna separate it like that actually. Guess I overwatered them this morning. Overwatering and underwatering. So I'm going to make me some holes. I'm going to put a bunch of these in here. Start off with this one. It's a plantable pot, but I just like to remove some of it. Dang. I'm not going to be able to remove this. It's growing through the pot. Let's go ahead and put one of these in here. Snap pea. I don't know if I mentioned that. These are my peas. Okay, here's a sugar pea, snap pea. It's a pole one, so these ones are gonna need a trellis. I'm just gonna put them next to my fencing so they can just grab onto the fence. See, it's already trying to grab something right now. And here's more snap peas, sugar peas. This one's a bush pea. More compact plant. Little hitchhiker, I must have dropped a seed. Pull that out. Little hole. These ones were begging to be planted. This one, a late sprouter. This one germinated later than the rest. Now that I got these planted out, the rest of the seeds I started can stay inside. Under the LED lights and grow a little bit more true leaves before I transplant them out. They need to get a little bigger. Those ones were taking up so much room because when you first have your seed sprout, you want them higher to the light, and those plants were so tall that I couldn't have these as high to the light. See, they get a little spindly because they're trying to reach for the light. So I'm going to put the LED lights really close to them so that they can get as much light as they need. I need to thin out some of these plants. I'm only going to have one plant per cell, so the weaker ones just snip them off at the base. But I'll keep you guys updated on how these are growing and when I finally transplant these out. The best part about grow bags is how portable they are. I'm just going to put them right here for now. Give them some little shade to help with their transplant shock. But I'll probably just let them grow up this poultry netting. We have a garden flock here, but we also have a free-ranging flock of chickens in the back. So in order to keep the free-rangers out of our garden, we have this little fence up, but I'm just going to set these here for now. I'm going to put on my rose gardening gloves for once. I never do, and then I always end up getting poked and I get all these cuts all over me. So for once, I'm actually going to take care of myself. One of my last chores in my garden I've been neglecting is deadheading my roses. I usually always keep up on this because it's usually just like 2 every day I'm supposed to do, but I've neglected it, so I'm going to go in here and prune the roses that have gone past their point. I'm going to clip this one right here. And you can see there's already one growing out right here. So we'll leave that. And that'll be a new rose. I usually always keep up on this because it drives my OCD crazy to see fallen rose petals everywhere. And then I like to feed the rose petals to my chickens. It's a nice healthy treat for them. This one's really blooming everywhere. It's so pretty. When you're pruning roses, you want to think long stem. You want to do like at least 3 down. They say preferably an outward facing one because then the new branch will go inward, but it doesn't really matter. But do it where there's a leaf where there's 5 leaflets instead of 3. I'm just going to do it right here. And then when a new rose will grow out from there. And this is the one I really need to do. Look at that. I hope I don't scare our little friend. There's a really big mantis right over here, right where I want to clip a rose. I'm going to do it really gently to not scare him. There he goes. He's got a big butt. He's been eating a lot. Here you go, little guy. Praying mantises are a really good friend to have in your garden. They eat all the unwanted pests. And they're just like poetry in motion. I love watching them. Forgot this one. See, when I don't do my maintenance every day, it's easy to overlook it. They're just so beautiful. And the aroma, you really just stop and smell the rose as you walk by, and it just takes you back. Just a couple left. That one's really pretty too. As the rose ages, the colors start to fade. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me today while I did all my garden chores. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep up with my fall garden and all my chickens' crazy antics. See you next time.